Welcome. Thanks for coming down. It was a little bit of a haul for you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, what did you do anything fun over the weekend?
Cornhole. I spent 12 hours playing on Saturday.
You said it was nationals.
It was one of the big ACL tournaments. It
Okay.
was their open, so all the pros come in throughout the country, and it's a lot of throwing.
And where was that at?
Philadelphia, West
So
Virginia.
up at the Highlands.
Up at the
So
Highlands, yeah.
everybody local knows the Highlands, that area. That's how many people were there? How many teams?
I think 380 teams.
And you placed what?
I placed fourth in my division.
Damn.
So
Nice job.
it was a good run. It was a great run.
That's impressive, man. So
That was solos or doubles?
Doubles.
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 Who was
First time partner I had. Kid,
Yeah.
guy Rich Kempa. He threw phenomenal. He threw great with me.
was it a blind draw or did you?
Now you bring your own partner.
Oh, okay.
So you started off for first 6 games random against anybody.
Right.
And then to figure out your seating on where you're sitting in the tournament, like a 1-1 team will play another 1-1 team. That's how they break it down until you play those 6 games.
Yeah.
And that puts you in your skill level bracket.
Oh, okay.
So it was hectic.
Right.
Like just watching all the pros play, like they don't miss.
Was it just one day or was it an all weekend thing?
It was an all weekend up there, but
Okay.
for my tournament, for what I went for, it was just Saturday.
Oh, nice.
They had singles yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So what made you get into cornhole? I know that you were playing hockey and that, and you had an injury.
Yeah, I tore the ACL playing hockey, and we played cornhole, through the Army, but I played in my backyard, and it was just something that came natural. It was just fun. It's a fun backyard game, and I didn't really know how competitive it was.
Right.
Like, I thought I was top tier. I was like, I don't lose. How many we win in a row? 90?
Yeah,
We didn't lose a
crazy.
game.
Damn.
And I showed up to my first little local tournament because they're all over Pittsburgh. They're everywhere. You
Yeah,
can
they're
show
everywhere
up and they
anymore,
got
yeah.
it. I got humbled real fast. I thought I was going to go in there and be like, I'm winning. Them people can shoot. And it just made me strive to be better. I was like, you know what? I want to be good.
Listen, what I'm amazed about is I know it. My wife just comes in, she'll shake her head because I'll literally be watching cornhole on television. Anytime it's on, it's a remote dropper. I'll sit there and watch, and how those guys and probably you can curve that bag. Like there could be a bag sitting right in front of that hole, and you can spin that thing, go right around it, and hit the hole from behind, and knock this. And I mean, it's amazing how accurate people can get with those bags, and it's just are you a spinner or are you a flopper?
So that cut bag where you can land it and roll it, I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. I can
Okay.
hit it every once in a while. I'm more of a airmail. If you got a bag in front blocking,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to just stovepipe it right over top. That's what I like to do. Like they were laughing this weekend, and we were just messing around practicing. I was throwing them so high. They were coming down like mortars, just hitting the board. And my buddy was like, "Listen, if we get up big in a game, shoot it, because
Yeah.
everybody's gonna love it." And had the opportunity at one point. We came up and we were at the boards, and we were good into our run there. We were up like 18-4, and kid called timeout on the other side. They went up to look at the board. It was like a mess up there, and I had a bag hanging halfway in the hole. And he said something. And he was like, "Let's see what this kid does." And everything came out. I was like, "I don't care what he does." And I had some vulgar words. I was like, "I'm shooting it." I was like, "To the moon, it's going." It's like to infinity and beyond, buddy. I'm letting it fly. I ended up laying it up on the board for 3 points.
Yeah.
He talked me out of it. I was all pumped. I'm like, "I'm hitting this for the win. Here we go." And he was like, "Just put it on the board. Take the 3 points." It was just like, it took all the energy out of me. I was like, man. Just a good time, though. And just the age groups. You got guys that are pros that are in their 50s, 60s, and you got 10-year-olds.
Like we had talked about it before on a different podcast, and I said it gives me hope that my tubby ass can still become a professional athlete.
Yep.
So
That's where it's at.
I have hope, but no, like you said, we have cornhole boards we take everywhere. We take it camping, we take it. There's my house, my parents got a set. No, I don't care where we're at. There's a cornhole board sitting out. Now you said you two would played before, like
Yeah.
Are you guys? So you're in the Army.
Yes.
You're in the Army.
Yeah.
Are you guys the same unit?
Same unit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Same chain of command. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh hell. All right. Well,
It's one of my squad leaders.
All right, the world's safe then. We got
Definitely is.
well, again, from one vet to another, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate you guys that are still out there doing it all the time. I mean, when I retired in 2015, and for about that first 6 months, I'm like, yeah. After that, I was like, that was dumb. I miss it. It's not, and like we were talking before, like it's not the military hurry up and wait and all that. I just miss that camaraderie that you have, and it's you don't appreciate how much you have, like how well you have it until it's
gone.
so you're out there, and then the only contact you have is through Facebook.
Yeah.
So
That's why it's the only reason I have a Facebook, I think.
yeah,
Like, there's so many guys I was on active duty with that I still talk to this day.
Same.
It's like I can see their families grow up. Like, it's been 17 years to the day today that one of my team leaders was killed in Iraq with us, and it's just like still like his wife at the time. I watched his kid grow up. His kid looks exactly like him. It's terrifying.
Oh man,
It's like you look at him, it's like, man, he looks like Dan.
God bless him.
It's like, wow.
Yeah,
But
that's
just watching the families grow up and everything, that's the only thing I like about social media.
yeah. I do the same thing. Like I have friends that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, but their families on there, and you see, and naturally they still have a really hard time, but
Oh, yeah.
they you can tell that they're thriving, and as you want to see that. You don't want to see them like any harder times than
No,
they
you
had to
don't.
go through. But
You don't.
anyway, I digress. Let's talk about sports.
Yeah, we to answer your question, we play like cornhole like when we have free time, say like we're out in the field, or I think the first time was before our deployment. We were down in Fort Hood and we were just messing around, and it's like I'm not that good at cornhole. I told him that. It's just that I'm just competitive, like, and he is too. Like, he's just one of those people that's like, you're both in a room, but you're both good at everything that you do, or at least try to be. It's like we were making paper airplanes. He's going to break his neck to try to make the best paper airplane in the room. And it's like, so that's how me and him, I think, ended up being teammates. Just like, I know Saunders is going to be competitive. I know Paranay's going to be competitive. Let's do it. And no one in the unit has topped us yet.
No.
Nice.
And yeah, it's been since 2019. Yeah, so
We probably got well over 100 games in a row.
yeah, we
been
haven't
touched.
lost yet. Yeah,
I don't know. I think you just called out the Air Force. I got to get a buddy, and we'll do an inter service matchup between Air Force and Army, and
yeah.
see what happens. Of course, I don't know if me and another Air Force guy can come on an Army post without catching a hell of a lot of shit, but it wouldn't be the first time.
But speaking of Air Force and airplanes and whatever else you guys fly over there, why don't you tell us how it is to jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
Best time of my life. That's
Yeah.
my one regret with the military is I wish I'd have stayed airborne.
Yeah.
Loved it. Like, I did my first active duty tour I was airborne infantry.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll never forget my first time. Airborne school, week 3, you get your first jump. You train for 2 weeks leading up to it, and I was the number 1 jumper. They asked for a volunteer. Like, who wants to jump first? I was like, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to hand my static line off. I'm just waiting at the door.
Yeah.
And that door opened, and they called. I'm standing there. I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm terrified. I'm not going to show it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I'm at 1,200 feet, about to just fall out of a plane, and pray to God the chute opens. And did my 5 jumps at airborne school, and then got to brag, and that's when the real fun started, because now you got your weight with you. You got your weapon, and you're jumping, and it's like the adrenaline. It just hits, and like as soon as you hit the ground, you're running. You're going.
I don't care how many jumps you have a pucker factor until you
100%.
feel that chute open and you're like, okay, everything's good. It's sheer panic, and you're like, yeah, this is a blast, and then okay.
It's a blast. I mean, it's fun because like I've jumped out of Black Hawk helicopters.
Yeah.
Those are fun. I mean, you sit, your feet are dangling over the edge. They take off and they go up, and you just push off and fall.
I got the fast rope out of Blackhawks. I didn't get to jump out.
I got the fast rope.
Yeah,
Fast roping's fun. That's scary too.
it is.
That rope, like you see movies, the rope looks like it's right here. It's a reach.
And it's in that rotor wash kind of.
Yeah. I'm 5'7". I'm looking at this rope. That might as well be a mile away. I'm like, I'm out of the door. If I miss, that's 50 feet to the ground.
It is. Yeah, like I said. And then when I went through SEER training, we did the recovery. So they pick you up. same thing with that jumbo penetrator, that big thing, and you get on there and then they hoist you up. And same thing, we did it for water survival, we did it for land survival. But that rotor wash, if you start spinning,
You're not stopping.
you just hold on.
You're just holding on for your dear life. Like, here we go.
But so how long have you guys both been in?
I got 19 years.
19.
Yeah.
I'm at 12.
You can see it. You see the light at the end of the tunnel, though.
Just re-enlisted for 6 more.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's not going nowhere.
I ain't leaving.
That's what I mean. Like I said, I got my 20, and I think mine would have been different. And Silk and I had talked about this. If my last 6 years of active duty, I was at the Pentagon. I think if I'd have been any other place in the world, I'd have been. But it was just DC and all that, the Potomac two-step, and
Yeah.
I got fed up real quick. And
At the bottom of the totem pole.
oh man, and even when you think even like I was enlisted, when you're at the top of the enlisted totem pole, you're still a briefcase carrier.
Yep.
Yeah, so you do like I was a program manager for a program, and I gave briefings to like some high ranking people, but in the end of it, still carrying somebody else's briefcase.
I say it's all your guys too. It's who you're with. Like I got great squad leader like Shane's phenomenal. I ask him to do something, he's on it. Like we work together great as a team. And I got some that you got to work with. But as long as you can bring everybody together and get it done, it makes it easy. I tell guys that all the time. They're like, I'm getting out, and I'm like, why? They're like, we don't do anything. I'm like, you don't do anything. Or I don't make enough money. It's like, get promoted. Like,
Yeah, do what you got to do to move
do what
up.
you do to move up, and then your job. You're still only in charge of a couple guys.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm in charge of 2 guys. He's in charge of 2 guys, and then they're in charge of all the other guys below them. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a trickle down effect, and people don't see that when they're down at the bottom. They just think this is stupid.
Yeah.
Especially the young guys, they want that instant gratification, and they don't want the grind. And it's like, man, for me, I appreciate it all because I actually got out of the military for a couple years. And when I got out, I was supposed to be getting my sergeant when I had got out. And when I came back in, they made me start all over again. So I had to start back at ground zero, fuzzy, no rank on my chest, and just grinding my way back up through the top. So it's like, I see these young guys now, they come in, they just want it all their first day through the door. And they're like, man, I want to get out when my contract's up, or I'm done with this. I'm tired of this. And it's like, man, you just got to put in that work. Like, there's so many benefits that you get from being in the military, and you don't even know about them until you need them or until they come up. And it's like, oh, that's why I do this. Or not even why I do this, but like, it's great that that's there because I'm doing this.
Yeah, but do you think like even right now, like it's a societal thing because the way kids are today, everything is such instant gratification, and everybody gets a participation trophy that they get in and they're like, well, I showed up, so how come I need to go from E1 to E5 because
I think that is a big part of the problem. They want that instant, like he said, instant gratification. I'm here, I show up, I want promoted. I hear that a lot. I'm here every month. Like, that's your job.
Right.
Like, show up. Like, just because you show up doesn't mean, it's not like you said, it's not a participation trophy. Like, you got to earn it.
Right.
Like, show me you deserve to be promoted.
And one of
I
the
don't care
things
how much time you have.
that made sense to me, and I was fortunate enough that when I first went in, I ended up as an AGR, so I was all the time. But for drill weekends, and it wasn't so much even when I went in because, like I said, it was that many moons ago, and kids weren't like that. But even not dismissing anything for the National Guard or the Air Guard, well, you have to realize that you're basically doing 25 days, and other than your annual training 2 weeks. So you're doing 40 days of active duty, where guys that are on active duty are doing 365. So when they, well, this guy's been in for 3 years and he's done this, but he's done 900 days. You've done, 130. I mean, and once you kind of put it in perspective, sometimes, like I know some of my troops, when you put it in perspective that way, they're like, okay, that makes sense. So, but like I said, I have a hard time. I'd have a hard time being even senior NCO with some. I mean, I guess you have to have the right mindset that you want to go in the military, that you kind of know what you're going to get. But on the other hand, I'm still thinking that there's kids going to go in like, oh, this is easy. I'll just go in. I'll do this. And then they find out that that you actually have to work. You have to do a job. And they're like, oh, I didn't want to do that. Like,
Or they come in for the college money and realize, oh, I can go overseas.
yeah.
Like when we deployed in 2019, you got kids, they were mad.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go. I have school. I'm going to school. I joined the Army to go to school. Like, I can't leave for a year. It's like you signed a contract.
Remember the
like,
first part of that sentence.
Yeah.
You joined the Army.
You joined the Army.
That's it. It was like, and that's what I have parents all the time, Matt. They ask, and you guys might get the same thing. They'll be like, hey, my kid's thinking about going to the military. What do you think? And first and foremost, I tell everybody, get a college education. If college isn't for you or something, then fine. You go into the military, pick a trade that if you decide after 4 years you're done, you can come out and you can do something with it.
Right.
That's do that. And I said, and they asked, they were like, well, would you do it again? I'm like, yeah, I would. Oh, and the other thing that I was getting to, and I'm sorry, keep my brain. I tell them, like, you'll hear recruiters say, oh yeah, you can go in and you can go to school. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can, but it's like the rest of us in the working force.
Yeah.
You have a job to do. If you want to go to school at nights or on the
on your own
weekends
time.
or outside, rotate, you're there to do a job. Yeah, they'll pay for your college, but you got to work and go to school.
Right.
It's not just like, oh, you want to go to college? Okay, we'll send you to basic, we'll send you to trade school, and then you can just go do whatever and then come back when you're done. No, that's not how that works. So, and I know a couple of recruiters that are solid guys, but a lot of them just lie. And my favorite one is, oh, don't worry, just tell them what job you want to do when you get to basic.
I was my recruiter's first recruit.
Was you?
He came from the 82nd.
Oh.
I told him what I wanted to do. He was like, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So he made a bunch of calls for me. He tried to get me where he was at. I mean, it fell through. It's kind of hard to pull that many strings, but he kind of led me down the right path and he set me up. He let me know what it was about.
That's what I tell everybody. Like, whatever job you want to do, you can do it. You might have to wait a year before school date opens up. You're going to have to wait, and a recruiter doesn't want to say, okay, well, you have the job you want to do. Say you want to do crew chief. Well, the crew chief on the Blackhawk that you want to do, the next open school date isn't until like March of next year. So they'll be like, well, we can't send you to basic now because you have, so what, they backdate it and okay, we'll send you to basic in September. A lot of recruiters don't want to hear that. They're like, no, we want to get them through the door. We want to sign, do whatever. So that's why I always tell everybody that your recruiter can get your job in writing. Make sure that's in writing before you step on a bus, on a plane, anything. So you know when you're going, this is my MOS, this is what I'm going to do. And that's, other than that, if they were like, oh yeah, just, I had guys and basically the same thing. Oh, recruiter just told them that I wanted to do whatever. Oh, guess what? You're in logistics for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
But
today's sports episode is brought to you by our good friends at Wicked Waxing and Skincare. Wicked Waxing and Skincare is a locally owned small business specializing in body hair removal, full and Brazilian waxing for men and women, and skincare. Check out their services provided and pricing at their Facebook page, facebook.com/wickedwaxingskincare, and check out their website, wicked.glossgenius.com.
So what are the different places you guys traveled to, your unit? You were telling me that you were in Poland and somebody told you they didn't speak English in perfect English.
That's the way Poland was.
Yeah.
But no, we got to travel. I don't know where you went to Lithuania, right?
Yeah, I was at an outpost in Lithuania, and I think I saw maybe 9 or 10 countries while we were over there. So it's a pretty good time.
yeah, what was your favorite place that you've been?
Prague.
Prague?
Like, well, for that deployment, Prague.
Yeah,
Like people talk about Vegas, Prague.
yeah. We
Prague
went
is
to.
unreal.
I got stationed in Budapest for like 60 days, and that was like one of my first deployments, and it was just, and then like I know we're gonna get into it, but we weren't in a tent. They put us up in hotels, and we had a hell of a per diem. So it
Air
was
Force.
yeah, that's it. But yeah, it was.
He's just digging a knife.
That's it. That's it. Listen, I'll take Chair Force every day because that chair is pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's crazy thing is that I don't know if you were with us or not. We went to Hungary.
No.
We went to Hungary and we got off duty. We did everything we had to do. So we went out to a pub and we walk in this pub and the very first thing you hear is the West Virginia song. Was that
Country road.
Take me
Country
home,
Roads?
Country Roads.
First thing you hear is Country Roads, and I was like, "There's no way, there's no way I'm in Hungary, and that's what I'm hearing walking into a pub."
We had to divert one time. We were going to Mildenhall and the weather was bad, so we diverted into a Royal Air Force base. And we get there and they put us in a hotel, and we go down, and I asked the ladies behind the counter, I'm like, "Hey, where's the closest bar?" She looked at me like I had a third nostril, and she's like, "Bar?" She goes, "What do you?" And finally, it was like, "Where's the closest pub?" "Oh, okay. Well, the first one you're going to come to is called the Aviator. You don't want to go in there." So 15 minutes later, we're all walking in the Aviator, and there's like 8 of us, and we get in there, and then once they found out that we were Americans, we didn't pay for a drink for the entire night, and we sang "You Lost That Love and Feeling" karaoke probably 15 times. Every time the song would end, somebody else would do karaoke, and "We want the Yanks back up," and we'd have to do that same song again.
It was one of the best moments that you had in the military, and one of the craziest moments that you've had in the military.
Ooh, best moment. Honestly, pinning my first soldier. Like being able to be in that position where you can promote somebody is a great feeling. Because like you work with people and you're finally like, I can take the gratification that like it's not about me.
Right.
It's about my soldiers, and being able to promote them and put them in a position to be better and better their lives and everything. It's a great feeling.
Right.
Like that's the stuff I like in the military. I'm not about myself. And then worst. I could have a list miles long. Losing Sergeant Woodcock was probably one of the worst feelings because I was off that day. I was sitting in my tent, or I was in my chew, and I was getting ready to go home on leave. Sitting there, I walked up to the talk and everything, and I got in there. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, Fernandez?" He's like, "We had a KIA." I'm like, "What do you mean we got a KIA?" He's like, "We got 1 KIA, 1 wounded in action." I'm like, "Fuck, like, this sucks." Who was it? And as soon as he told me the name, I just lost it. I was like, "Damn." His best friend was in the tent right next, or in the chew right next to me, sleeping. Go wake him up and tell him. And like, it was rough. It hit our platoon hard. That was our best soldier we had. Like, that was his 3rd deployment, and then the kid with him, Vincent Mannion, that was maybe his 2nd mission. We just got him in as a replacement.
Wow.
So he came in. Like, that hit hard. I remember my first firefight. Hectic. I was a 203 gunner. I might have fired 1 203. I dumped every mag I had.
Yeah.
Everyone gone. 1 203 at the trunk of a car. Driving away. I was like, this is unreal. Like, you don't think about it. I mean, you train so much that like you're not thinking. It's just like instinct kicks in. You know where you need to be, where you're going, where you're covering, where you're running to, where you shouldn't be running to.
Right.
I ran to a spot I wasn't supposed to be running to. I got pinned down behind a big electric generator, me and one other kid, like 20 yards in front of our truck.
Yeah.
We're just sitting there watching rounds hit the dirt. Like, it's a bad spot. Like, we should probably run back to the truck. Like, take cover behind that. But
Do you remember that feeling? That first bullet whistle by? Like, were you out there like just taking life for granted? And
the first one that went by was actually, it was just a pop shot.
Yeah.
And we heard it just was like, and like our commander jumped in the truck, and we all just started laughing. Like, he's gone. I remember my first time getting blown up, first time hitting IED. It was like 2:30 in the morning. I have my night vision on. I'm tired because we were out all day, and I'm leaning up against the truck window like this, arm on the cooler, all relaxed. I'm looking out the window, just everything lit up in my NVGs, just white light, and then it was like slow motion. That's what it felt like. It was like I seen the flash before I heard the boom. I grabbed my gunner. I was screaming at him because my ears were ringing. They're like, "Yo, calm down. Like, he's fine." I'm like, I can't hear, dude. Like, I was like, truck and sucked the air out, push all the dirt and everything down in there. I was like, this is bad. That was the first time I ever put a dip in my life. I tried to stay awake, and I swallowed it. So I was gagging on top of that. It was horrible. Like, it was.
What about you, Silk? Best and worst?
Best. Man,
It's hard.
That's a tough question.
It's tough.
That's tough. That's a tough question. Worst, I haven't really seen many bad days in the military.
Yeah.
I really haven't. I would say training wise, maybe NTC, but I mean, even that, when you think about it, you're like, oh man, I gotta go spend 30 days in the desert and this, that, and the third. But then like you're there and it's over and you're like, well, it's gone. I did it. What's the
Right.
next thing? But uh, yeah, I really couldn't tell you best, man. I'm kind of an even keel person when it comes to the
Yeah.
military. It's like I don't get too high, and I don't get too low. So
What about you?
Uh, like I'm like you. Worst, there could be a list. I was a medic. I was a deployed medic.
Okay.
So when my days were busy, those were the worst days of people's lives. So there could be a laundry list of those days. My best, um, I probably with the way my family was, it was all military. But when I pinned on Master Sergeant and my
Okay.
dad was able to pin me, that was I remember that one. That was pretty cool. Just it was everybody in my dad's side of the family was either Army Air Corps or it just was all that way. It was Air Force and stuff. So yeah, I think again I've been fortunate. I can say there's a lot of good days, but the one that sticks out is my dad pinning me for Master Sergeant. It meant a lot to me. But there's a lot of good days that I don't remember. There's- but yeah, other than that. So anyway, back to sports. What do you think about Russell Wilson?
I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm not sure. Like, I think he still has a lot left in the tank. I do. I don't think Denver was a good fit for him. I think he can come in here and he can light it up, or he can come in here with our O line and just run for his life. So hopefully,
Which I'm-
he still has the legs under him.
I'm
That's
just
what I'm
saying,
hoping.
New England got Okafor, so
Yeah.
at least we got a solid tackle.
If anything, Kenny Pickett can learn something from him.
yeah,
I'm not giving up on Pickett yet.
Listen, I'm as a diehard Patriots fan since 1978. I am really happy that Mac Jones is in Jacksonville now. So I read an article the other day that said that Belichick wanted to trade Jones and go after Baker Mayfield or maybe even Kirk Cousins. There was another big quarterback he wanted, and Robert Kraft put the kibosh on it. I'm like, it sounds like Jerry Jones-ish, where the owner's getting involved and messing stuff up.
Messing
So,
everything up.
but who knows?
I love the pickup. I think when we got him for 1.2 million bucks and Denver's paying his salary,
Yeah,
so it's like we got him for a year, and if hopefully he's a good fit, I don't see him leaving. I've seen something where he's him and his wife are partnering with Acrisure. So I think this is like a big move for them. Like maybe they're going to see some years down the line in Pittsburgh. And if he comes back, I mean, Denver still owes him, was it like 89 million or
Yeah.
something like that? So it's like
Yeah.
we can sign him for another 2-3 year vet minimum deal, and Denver's still paying his salary. So it's like he's not going to be greedy.
no, I think fiscally, I think it's a huge pickup. But like you said, you never know. I mean, you could get somebody, and I'm on the same train of thought. I think Denver was a bad fit. I think when he first got there, like Sean Payton was like, stop kissing babies, stop doing what you're doing, it's my way or the highway. And I sometimes you kind of got to coddle people and be like, okay, well, I respect what you're doing, but we need to focus here. And just sometimes you do that, and it'll change the mentality and the way somebody plays. And I think he'll be a good addition in Pittsburgh. I think it'll be surprising, but the Browns just they got Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I mean, Denver keep going that way. New England's not the worst team in the league next year.
I'm hoping we grab Justin Simmons from them too.
Yeah,
I heard he wants to come play with Minka, so that'll make our secondary exponentially better.
yeah. It's I do. I'm not a Steeler fan. We discussed this, but for my friends that are, I hope they do
Yeah.
well. But yeah,
And Russell's actually had some good years. I think he had threw for 27 and 8 last year, and he didn't even play the last 4 games of the year
Right.
because of the whole Denver wanting him out and not wanting to pay him thing.
Right.
And I think he had like maybe one more touchdown and one less interception than Mahomes, who played the whole year.
Yeah.
So it's like this guy's, just because he's been tucked away in Denver, I think he's only had one bad year, and that was the 2022 year when they were saying he had more bathrooms than touchdowns or something in his house. That was the only bad year that he's had since he's been in the league. I think we're
Right.
getting a steal for 1.2 million bucks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, and I'm kind of interested to see what happens in the draft. You know, as a Buckeye fan and a Patriots fan, I'm praying we get Marvin Harrison, but I don't. I think we're going to end up getting Drake May as a quarterback or something. I don't know, but it's hard to say. I'm excited to see what the draft brings. I don't know, just whatever anybody in the NFL can do to knock Kansas City off. I don't care. I'm so tired of seeing Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City.
We were tired of seeing New England.
Right. Yeah.
It feels so
That's
good
fair.
now, and I'm
That's
like,
That is fair.
somebody else.
That is
finally.
fair. That is
Finally.
absolutely fair.
'Cause it was
I'll
like-
give you that.
We
But
just kept losing to him, and I was like, this hurts. Like,
Yeah.
please get over the hump. And then Brady goes down. It's like, all right, Brady's out. He's done winning championships. Then he goes and wins another one. I was like,
yeah, yeah, it was.
I saw your face when you said you've been a New England fan, and I looked over and I saw Bill, and his face was just like, really?
It's funny because like I'm a huge Red Sox fan. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm a Pats fan, but hockey. I'm a Penguins fan. It was just when I started watching hockey, it was Penguins were on locally, but I do pull for the Blue Jackets out in Columbus. We went to a game out there not too long ago. I kind of pull for them, but what do you think the Pens are gonna? I mean, Pens look terrible.
terrible. That Gensel, man, love the kid.
Yeah,
Like, he just came out, and how much of that is a product of him playing with Sid? We'll find out when he gets down in Carolina, but
Right.
it's like, that hurt. That was my favorite Penguin since he came in the league. Just young talent came in and just lit it up.
with the last 4 games, they've scored what? They've been beat like I don't know, what is it, like 18-1 or something? It's just they've been getting
A
just
ton of shots, though. They're getting the shots. I mean, 190 shots over the last couple games. And
Yeah.
1 goal. It's like, it's rough. It's hard.
yeah.
Or it's spoiled in Pittsburgh, though. Like, I've watched 5 Super Bowls. What? 4 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
5. I've watched them win 5 cups.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched the Pirates win a playoff game. You know, like, I'm used. Everybody's so spoiled. Like, be a Pirates fan and then mellow yourself out a little.
Yeah,
Because it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts
Oh, I
being a
don't-
Pirates fan.
Those are
I
lows.
don't know. I mean, like they say, spend nutting, win nutting, and
Exactly.
it's sad. Like, and that's they got the best minor league team in baseball that's
100%.
playing in the national.
That's what I say. We're a farm team. We get great players and then we ship them off. Like cool, tie on.
Oh,
Like we
yeah.
get them and it's like, all right, we got them. And then as soon as they get time to get that paycheck, goodbye.
Now they're
See
everyone
ya.
else's best players.
Everybody else's best players.
Everyone's got grade A
Mm-hmm.
bullpens. Thanks from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
We've had a ton of pitchers go
Yeah.
and they end up in the World Series within 2 years with another team. It's like, this hurts.
or top
Like, I'm
pitchers
happy
in
for
the
'em.
league. And
Yeah.
Blake Snell and Garrett Cole, them got like Tyon.
Yeah.
This, yeah.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough that I got to see Bonds and Bonilla and Michael LaValliere behind the plate and Van Slyke and all those guys. It was when they were really, really, really good in the late '80s, early '90s, but just right in the crapper.
I'm excited to see Skeens and O'Neal healthy. Hopefully, him healthy this year.
Him healthy's going to be big.
Yeah.
They got a good young team. I like that G1 Bay. I
Yeah.
think he's got speed. He's a great fielder. I hope the bat comes around. He'll be okay. They brought in Chapman.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's old. I know he's late in his career, but he's still throwing
he
100.
still got a laser.
You bring him in the
Yeah.
8th, and then you have Bedard come in the 9th. They can close out games this year.
In Pittsburgh, I mean, you're not getting a better place. It's going to just welcome a guy. He's going to be loved. Like
100%.
Chapman come out, or he'll have his theme music or whatever. The whole stadium will be going nuts. Like,
He's not with Cincinnati anymore. We don't
Yeah.
got to deal with it. Like, he's ours
Yeah.
now. I don't care how old he is. Like,
Yeah.
we got him now.
But
Let's go.
I mean, there is one small advantage about the Pirates being terrible is you can go to an absolutely beautiful ballpark and see a game for really cheap.
For cheap.
Even when the Red Sox come in town, not last year before, my wife and I went in on like SeatGeek or one of those things. We were like I think we were 15 rows behind the dugout, and I got them for like $45 a ticket. So it was just, and any other time you go try to see, like if you go up to Jacobs Field and see Boston and Cleveland, those same tickets are $200 a
Oh,
seat.
man.
So, I mean, there is a little bit of an advantage just because they're terrible.
Yeah,
but-
the prices are, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Like every time I take the kids, we sit row A on the Clemente wall, like first seats, they're $26 a ticket.
yeah,
It's like, how do you beat that?
Right.
$100, I'm taking my kids to sit. I mean, there's nobody in front. It's us in the field.
yeah.
So
But don't forget, there's $400 in chicken tenders and popcorn.
chicken tenders and ice cream and cotton candy.
That's where they get you. But so for your cornhole, what's up next for you?
Right now, I'm just gonna be doing the local draws and
Okay.
everything. Trying to establish that shot, man. It's so hard because there's so many different types of shots. You got people that like to push a bag in. You got people like the airmail, and now there's the roll shot that's been coming up the last couple of years where they're landing in front and just rolling over everything. I can't do it. Like my cousin Joey, he plays football with him.
Yeah.
Phenomenal corner. He's way better than me.
Yeah,
Like he's just the last 3-4 months he's come out and exploded.
nice.
I think he's won 4 in a row on our weeklies, and then he'll lose one and then come back and win again. It's like I can beat him, but I can't beat him when he got a partner. So
All right. All I heard was when you're on duty, Silk's your partner,
100%.
and when you're not on duty, Silk, what are you doing next weekend? Play a little cornhole?
Next weekend, that's gonna be rough. I'll try.
No, like I said, we got I'm a big fan of it. It's fun to do.
it's a great game. Like I met so many great people through it too. Cause like I was playing hockey for a long time, and I tore my ACL at a tournament out by Philly. I came back. That was 16 months ago. I just started jogging again.
Yeah.
Like really running. So it was like I need to find something to fill my time. No more deck hockey, no ice hockey. Like what am I gonna do? I'm done playing baseball. Like my cousin called me. He's like, come play some cornhole, dude. I was like, I'll come up for one time. And I've been addicted ever since.
Right?
Like I just thought it was go up there, throw a bag. There's so many different bag companies and
Right.
like speed sides. You get your fast side, your slow side. How does this bag cut? This is a roll bag. I'm like, I thought it was just come out and throw, man.
Now, on big tournaments like that, does ACL, do they provide, I'm sure that they probably provide the boards, so all the boards are the
All
same.
the boards are all the same, yeah.
Because like I said, even locally, you play, like we might go, say, his backyard, and his boards are super slick, and we go to, Joe's backyard, and his are only about this thick, and every bag that hits, they bounce, and, you know what I mean? So it's, like, is a typical board, like when the bag hits, it sticks, or will it slide? Is it kind of polished?
It varies everywhere.
Does it?
Like I play
Okay.
on Mondays at one facility, Battle Flag Cornhole. Like they have their thing down there, and their boards kind of run true to how I play on Thursday. My bag maintains that 5.9 speed, slow side to the fast side, 5.8 speed. This weekend, them boards weren't moving. Like every board kind of played the same, but humidity takes a factor. As soon as you get some humidity in there, that bag slows down. Like I was throwing I don't like to change my throw. If my bags aren't moving, I'll change a bag.
Yeah.
That way I can keep my arm motion the same speed, and let the bag do the work.
Right.
Wasn't working this weekend for me. I had to change my throw a little bit and start throwing harder because they weren't moving.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is I gotta adapt. It's
Adapt,
either
improvise, and
adapt
overcome.
or- yeah.
That's it.
I either adapt or we're losing. And we clicked at the right time and got on a hot streak. And
Nice.
I was actually going to ask you with the cornhole, is this your transition away from hockey, or is that something that you just can't stay away from? Like you're waiting to get healthy to get back to, or is this your?
I just got a call last week and they want me to come back to start playing tournaments again, and I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to go out there because my right knee had the ACL surgery, meniscus on the left knee. I don't have the best right knee either, and I'm afraid I'm gonna go out there and have to go through this whole thing again. So I don't know if I'll play deck hockey. I want to get back into ice. I enjoy ice. You push a couple times, you can glide around and
Right.
stride hard when I have to, but I like to plop myself in front of the net and just let people rip shots.
Right.
So I'll try to deflect everything I can. I can play that role. I'll play a third line role. Deck hockey's rough because you're on your feet. It's a sprint for everything, and I don't want to. If I'm going to play, I want to be 100%. I want to give 100%.
Right.
I don't want to go out there at 50, 60% and just not contribute what I know I can mentally. Like, I'm too competitive.
Right.
I don't like to lose. I hate it.
Yeah, but Age is a bitch.
Age is. I'll be 39 this year, and it's like I remember everybody said it. Play it now, can't do it forever. And I'm thinking I'm in great shape. Like I'm still playing at a high level. One injury, and that just crushed me. I was
Yeah.
like, this is bad.
It's yeah. Wait till you get 50ish, and just going to bed hurts. But what do you think? You want to put a wrap on this one?
Yeah, I actually was ask you one more question for you.
Yeah.
Knowing your leadership style, like he's a phenomenal leader, and he's a great person to learn from, great person to be under. What kind of things in your military career or your life in general molded you into be the kind of leader that you are?
My leadership. I've had bad leadership and I've had phenomenal leadership. Like when I was with the 82nd, Sergeant Woodcock, met him to death. I was terrified of the guy when I first met him. He was that leader that he would not steer you wrong, but you're gonna do it right. And if you don't do it right, you're gonna do it right. Like there was no failing with him. Like you were gonna learn, and he instilled it like to where I kind of wanted to. I didn't never wanted to let him down ever. Sergeant Ski, my platoon sergeant, like love the guy. He let you fail. You got to let people fail to show them the right way. And too many people are afraid to fail. Can't be afraid to fail. Go out there and do it. And that's the mentality I took.
Right.
Like I'm gonna be the first sergeant for AT. I don't want to fail,
Right.
but I'm sure I'm not gonna get everything right. As the first sergeant out there, if something goes wrong, like he said, adapt, overcome, and push through it. Figure it out. And that's my biggest thing. I try to tell all the younger guys, like even you, like, hey, get it done. I don't
Right.
care how you do it.
Right.
If it works, it works. For the future. If you fail, you learn from it, and then when that situation comes around again, you're prepared for it. I think failure is the biggest learning tool.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'd tell my guys. I'd be like, look, we got to get from point A to point B. I don't give a shit if it looks like we're in tachycardia and we're going like this all the way. I don't care. Is if you want to sit on your ass for the first 3 hours, drink coffee, do whatever, and bust your ass for the last 9, I don't care. I just as long as you know what we got to do to get from point A to point B. You're educated. You're adults. Just do it. Like I trust you. If you do something and it didn't work, guess what? We're never going to do again. Like you said, it's a big learning tool.
It is. People just overthinking. Overthinking will kill you.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you know what you have to do.
And I will say, I had one leader one time, and like you said, people didn't like him. But the fact is he told you exactly what you needed to hear, whether you wanted to hear it or not. That's what you need. It's not going to be like, oh, no, don't worry about that. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And he knows that you're going to get your ass handed to you. He's going to be like, you screwed up. Like you're this, and this. And you didn't want to hear that. Like that's the last thing you want. It's somebody just, but I learned more from him because, and that's what I always told people. I'm like, look, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. You might not like it, but I'm being honest with you because I'd rather up front, this is the way it is, and saying, oh, well, Sergeant LaRue said this, and he's like, no, that's not, he knows that's not how it is. Because now that trooper looks at me like, dude, you lied to me.
Right.
So, and, there's, you have to have thick skin.
Absolutely.
I had one more thing for you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
I said
man.
one more thing ago.
It's the magic of editing.
Right. So being in the military, not just that, but also being men, being strong men, being leaders, we sometimes take mental health for granted. And I know that you have a pretty good story. Maybe you want to share it about why you take mental health so serious, and maybe it might help someone that's listening to this.
As a man, like you want to be strong. You don't want anybody to know that you might feel weak inside. You know what I mean? But like losing somebody's rough.
Yeah.
It is. Like I had soldiers call me out, like give me phone calls, this and that, and missed a call, or like I'll call him back. He does this all the time. He's fine. And then you get a call that, hey, he killed himself. It's like you start thinking about yourself, like, what could I have done? Like, if I'd have answered that call, would that have changed anything? So I learned, like, if somebody's reaching out, answer the call. Myself, like, if I need to talk to somebody, I'm going to make a call. I always thought, oh, I'm too tough. I'm like, I don't need help. I'm fine. Nothing wrong with me. I'm a man. I can get through this. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. And people shouldn't have shame in that. Like,
Yeah, that was a huge stigma. And I know it through towards the end of my career and even now that you see that there's such a push for mental health awareness that, even when I first went in, like, you'd be like, you look at those heroes from like World War II, Vietnam, and they don't talk about anything.
they don't talk about anything.
So you just thought, man, that's what I'm just supposed to eat it. And then, like you said, that's where we end up with 22 a day. And that is the biggest hurdle for a lot of guys. Even we can all sit here and preach it, but until that guy or girl says that first time, opens up and says, I need help, it's like everybody comes out of the woodwork. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And until you make that statement, nobody knows. Like, we're all good at, hiding a lot of shit, but it's not to get over that stigma for anybody. I don't care if you're, 7 foot badass Green Beret or you're that little 4 foot, airman. And if something happens, I need help. I need to talk to somebody. Say it. Like, nobody's going to be like, oh, hey, did you hear Silk had to ask for help?
Yeah.
No. Because as soon as somebody does that, everybody else around them is going to just thump his ass. Be like, no, we're not playing that.
Right. We talked about it earlier about great feelings in the military. I can say that's another one, is having my soldiers comfortable to walk in my office and be like, hey, can we talk?
Yeah.
Because, like, knowing that they entrust me with what they have to say or their feelings is a good feeling. Knowing I can try to help them out, or if I can't help them, steer them in the right direction to get the help that they need.
Yeah.
Because I think that happens on a monthly basis. I got one soldier coming in just wanting to talk, or hey, what I need help. I'm like, all right, shut the door, stop.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good feeling.
And the other thing is, too, is like, we all said that we're friends with guys that we're on active duty with. Sometimes it's just sending a message just out of the blue, like somebody crossed your mind. I sent them a message. Hey, man, you're on my mind. Hope everything's good. And more often than not, I've gotten responses going, man, I needed that. Like, I'm like, thanks for just reaching out. And that's all it is. It's just, and again, it wasn't anything particular, but I'd be like, hey, what about this guy? And I haven't heard from him or anything. And I'll send him a text or I'll shoot him a message on Facebook. Hey, man, you crossed my mind. Hope all is well.
Our group chat is crazy.
Yeah.
For my active duty guys, like,
Yeah.
it can go a month with nothing, and then all of a sudden it's just chaos for two,
Yeah.
3 days. It's fun.
And like you
It's
said,
fun sometimes.
it's hard, and I say this from 100% experience. It's hard to get that low to where you might make a decision that you ain't coming back from, and finally saying, "Somebody help me." Like that veteran crisis line, everything, and even I'm not ashamed to say it. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just did the text thing, going, "I'm in trouble." And they didn't call. It was all right through text. And then finally, they got me in touch with people, and no kidding, it saved my life. Like, it got me my head above water, and then the good Lord or the universe put my phenomenal wife in my path, and she kind of picked me up out of the water, and we just kept going, and I couldn't be happier. But it sucks. When you get to that point and you say, I need help, you're embarrassed to say it, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. And there's so many other people that are, don't. Like, I'll preach that till the day I die, is it's okay to ask for help.
That's why I try not to judge people. You never know what somebody's going through.
That's it.
Never know.
And I've known guys that, and naturally, like social media, everybody puts their best on social media. I mean, you have some people who put all their drama.
Yeah.
But I've known people that they put their best live out there. Everything's great. You didn't think anything was wrong. And then you get a phone call. Hey, so-and-so became part of the 22. And
Right.
and like, I get it. You do that same thing. You wrestle with yourself going, man, what if I would have called? And that's you think, and again, I speak of this just so I hope it helps somebody, but when you get to that low point, it's easy to sit there and think, man, how could somebody be so low that they didn't think they had anybody to talk to, that was their only option? And that's what you got to get rid of that. You got to get rid of that stigma. But on a lighter note,
Right? On a lighter note.
you got any?
That's good.
Well, thanks
Appreciate
for
you
having
for
me.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for
having
the
me.
drive down, man.
I appreciate it, guys.
We'll have to get together and go to a Pirate game and, you know, boo somebody.
Won't be the Pirates. Won't be booing the Pirates.
Well, and we'll have to make sure we'll all go when they have that team from New York that wears pinstripes. If they come to, we'll go
My
boo
son's a
them.
Yankees fan.
Oh man.
I failed. I failed.
Uh,
He's
you
like,
did-
they're the best. I'm like, are they though? They have the best payroll.
Right.
yeah, they're the best championship money can buy, but now you can't even do that anymore. So, but, all right, guys, it was good. It was fun. It was nice
What's
meeting you,
fun?
man.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, absolutely.